Is there a great recession coming? The market is at an all-time high, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why I believe that there's no stopping the market right now, and why the market is going to keep going higher for the next couple years. I'm going to talk about that in this video, my theory here on why the market is booming and everything is going to go higher for quite some time. Let's talk about it. What's going on, guys? So today I want to talk about something that I normally don't talk about, and that's the overall market, the economy, the stock market, and just America in general. So let's talk about some of the reasons why I believe that the stock market is going to go higher and higher and higher for quite some time. Now, first off, as a disclaimer, I am not a professional investor, advisor by any means, so do not go and put all of your money into the market today. I also will say that I do expect some volatility along the way, but what I do believe is that we're going to go to we're already at all-time highs, but I believe we're going to go even higher. And some might say that this is going to sound crazy, but I'm thinking the Dow, 50,000. 50,000 for the Dow. Now, I can't wait to read the comments below about how stupid I sound for saying that, but I'm going to put it out there on YouTube. And I might be wrong here, but I'm going to talk about why I believe, and that's what this comes down to. I'm going to explain to you why I believe that the market is going to just keep going higher and higher for quite some time. Now, again, to warn you, there will be some volatility. There's always volatility. We might have some big crashes along the way, but at the end goal, I'd say 4 years. In 4 years, the Dow is going to be at record highs at over 40,000. Maybe that'll be easier. Over 40,000 for the Dow, and we should see the SPY, 4,000 or 5,000 as well, which shouldn't really be hard at all for the SPY. But a couple reasons why this is going to happen and why I believe it's going to happen. First off, the SPY, the Dow, is always taking low performing stocks off of the indexes for a reason, because they're going to put the best performing stocks. So even if some of the stocks on the SPY or the Dow aren't performing well, it won't really matter in the bigger picture long term, because they'll just take it off of the SPY and they'll put another higher performing SPY stock on there, another higher performing stock on the S&P 500, if that makes sense. So at the end of the day, the overall indexes are always kind of looking to perform as well as possible, and they're going to take anything that's not performing well off of the kind of overall index. Now, another reason, and this comes from actually talking to real people in the market and investing, private equity, things like that. So private equity has been a big deal for quite some time, because a lot of investors have believed that the market was going to pull back. We're going to get a big crash. That 300 in the SPY was like the top, and we had that big crash last December. We had a big crash last December 2018, and if you would have bought at the bottom there in December, you would be sitting pretty right now. And a lot of people did not buy. I know a lot of big investors ended up pulling out during that big crash because they believed that it could go even lower. And now we look at it like, wow, that was one of the best buying opportunities in quite some time. So that's kind of a good indicator here that we had that pullback, it got bought up, and we went back to the moon. And now, again, we're at all-time highs. And we're in November right now. So we're in November going into December, which last December we had a major sell-off, a major crash. And now going into December today, we have another big overall rally going into the end of the year here. Now, we broke through very important area there at the 300 area there on the SPY, the Dow. Everything is rallying right now. The NASDAQ, everything's booming. And there's a couple things that also lead me to believe that this is going to just kind of accelerate in the... It's going to accelerate here. It's going to accelerate in the bigger picture here, because a couple of different reasons. You have a lot of people who have been sitting on the sidelines because they didn't want to invest at the top. You had a lot of people who pulled out of the market when the market crashed. Now the market is back at all-time highs. It's above all-time highs. What's going to happen here? You're going to get that FOMO. You're going to get people who are like, wow, you know, I really missed out and I don't want to miss out on any more of the move. What are we going to get? We're going to get a nice big pop because we're going to get more and more people flooding into the market. Private equity is getting crushed. You got things like WeWork. WeWork ended up just totally blowing up. I think WeWork is going, I don't really know the financials there, but WeWork basically blew up the idea of private equity. And a lot of people are just not super hyped on this idea of private equity right now. And then obviously, you know, the way that the market is turning right now, it's getting more and more enticing for investors who have been sitting on the sidelines. I think a lot of people have been sitting on cash, they've been sitting on bonds, people maybe have been buying precious metals, but what's going to happen here is more and more people are going to see the market rallying, more and more people are going to want to jump into the market. You're also going to have this kind of short squeeze. You're going to have a lot of people who are betting the market's going to crash because, again, we're at that over that $300 area on the SPY, and I keep saying $300 area because that's kind of like an easy key area. Over 300, we're just booming right now. I think, what are we at right now? We're at 309, 3,009 on the S&P 500 today. So you can see behind me, the market is booming right now. And now there's a couple other reasons that I believe that the market is going to keep going higher. And this could be just, you know, the conspiracy theorist in me, but we've got to talk about it because that's what I'm doing here. I'm putting my opinion out there, and that's by no means saying that I'm correct or if I'm right or wrong. But I'm sharing with you my opinion and what I'm thinking is going to happen. Like I said, I could be totally wrong here. I've been wrong in the past, and if I am right, I will definitely talk about how I was right. And if I was wrong, well, I probably won't talk too much about it, but it'll still be out there. It'll still be on YouTube. So here's the conspiracy theory part of it. The conspiracy theory part is that, one, we've got an election coming up soon, and I'm going to put my money on it as well. I'll just go ahead and say it, that there's no way that Donald Trump is going to lose the election. And I know that the Democrats, the liberals, whoever's watching this video is going to put their hands in the air and scream and say that I'm an idiot because Trump should not be president. But you've got to agree with me that at the end of the day, he's going to be reelected because he's just such a powerful figure in the sense of everybody is talking about Trump. And really, at the end of the day, voting, politicians, and all that comes down to a popularity contest. And you've got to admit, Trump has everyone's attention. There has never been a president in the history of America who has had this much controversy, this much publicity, this much media. I mean, every single day on the news, there's another story about Trump. It's like every single minute on Twitter, there's a new post about Trump. So just for the sheer fact that I believe that people are just kind of a herd mentality, that everyone's going to kind of get behind their friends who also think that Trump's the best, people are going to end up voting for Trump. And also, I'm going to blame the Democrats either way here, because the Democrats, they just have no actual good candidate. And you'd have to be an idiot. You'd have to be a real idiot to believe that you could beat Trump. If I was a Democrat and I was thinking about running for president, I wouldn't do it. I would just be like, no way. Because if you lose, let's say you lose to Trump, you're done after that. So nobody wants to lose to Trump, and that's the big problem here. Bernie Sanders stands no chance of beating Trump. Andrew Yang, no chance. So give me somebody who might have a chance. I might kind of think differently, but for now, I'm going to say that Trump's going to win. And I know one thing that Trump is going to make sure that he focuses on, and that's making sure that the market goes to all-time highs over and over again, because he loves the idea of Trump being the best and Trump making the world money, money, money. So Trump will have no problem with cutting taxes, with helping corporations, with helping large corporations make more and more money, and that's the big focus here for the market. More and more money in the market, more and more money in the companies, and Trump is all about more money. So there's no reason that the market would crash as long as Trump is in office. And I know that's going to sound crazy, but that's just how it goes. The Republicans are going to do everything they can to make sure the market just keeps on buzzing, baby. And Trump's going to do everything he can to make sure the market keeps on buzzing. Now, people might say that the housing market is getting to a bubble point, but I've seen the prices of the housing market. I don't think we're at the point yet where it's going to be like exuberant, where the price is going to be, you know, exuberantly high, where everyone's just buying. There's a lot of volume in the market right now with the housing market, but there's also just a lot of people kind of moving around and kind of relocating and looking for different opportunities. So I think the housing market has at least, you know, 3 or 4 more years before we get a nice pullback in the housing market. Personally, I would not buy a house just because I think it's overvalued. Most houses, at least for me in the South Florida area, are overpriced right now. But that's not to say that somebody else might not buy a house today because they need a house. And as long as that keeps on going, credit, obviously a lot of people are over leveraged. A lot of people have credit debt. A lot of people have student loans. But I don't think the student loan crisis or the student loan bubble or whatever you want to call that, I don't think that's enough to crash the market and to crash the overall economy. As long as Trump's president, as long as the people that are pulling the strings, you know, the puppets, pulling the puppet strings, as long as they're controlling the game, the market will go higher. And that's what we're looking at right now. And those are some of the reasons. Like I said, people are sitting on the sidelines. Once the market goes higher and higher, there's going to be more people flooding into the market, and it's going to accelerate. And it sounds crazy. It's like Bitcoin. And I would say the market's just like Bitcoin. What's going to happen? If we break through, if the Dow gets to 40,000, there's nothing stopping it. It's like 40,000, it's going to go to 50,000 because you're going to get these people just kind of flooding into the market. Everyone's going to want to buy. Everyone's going to be talking about how the market's going higher. You're going to get a lot of FOMO. You're going to get a lot of people wanting to buy. And that's my theory right there. A lot of people on the sidelines. You got Trump, and you've got really just no reason for the people who control the people, you know, the puppets. You got no reason for them to let the market crash as of now. Obviously, you know, in the past when we had the big financial crisis, a lot of that was attributed to the housing market with the CDOs and everyone being over leveraged, the banks and things like that. We're not at that point yet. Things aren't getting exuberant to that point just yet. Once we get to the point where we're like, okay, this is the top, you know, it's going to come. It's going to get to a point where everything's going to just seem out of, you know, just insanity. There's going to be a point of insanity. And once that insanity sets in, then we can have a different conversation. But as of right now, we just broke through that 300 area there on the SPY. Everything's kind of booming. The market's booming. The middle class is looking good. Everything's looking good in America right now. Obviously, there's some conflict and things around the world, but I don't really see any reason, as of right now, I don't see any major reason for the market to crash or the economy to crash. Even though everybody out there will tell you, there's lots of people who believe that we're at the top, that everything's going to crash. I'm going to have to say that I believe we're going to keep going. 50,000. The Dow to 50,000. And personally for me, I am investing long-term in the market because, like I said, I do believe that we're going to keep going higher for at least a couple more years. And that's just my personal opinion here. So there it is. If you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Let's see what happens. Come back to this video in like 3 or 4 years and we'll talk then. But leave a comment down below. Do you think we're going to go to all-time highs? Do you think we're going to crash? What's going to happen? I want to know. Let's go.